right into the break. And it's not the best for last, I guess it's right before the break. But we have an amazing opportunity right now to hear from Angie. And she comes from WeWork. She has a great background. And I have to just make it a little personal. The marketing that they do at WeWork, they have this line that it's do what you love. And I think everybody in this room has applied that in some way or another to themselves. It's just a very short, sweet line, and it really applies to everything. And even when you walk into the building, they write it a bunch of times to remind you that that's the message. So without further ado, Angie, take it off, and then we're gonna have a break afterwards.
So good morning to everyone. As he mentioned, my name is Angie Geffen, and we're going to talk about the ultimate wish list. And what does the ultimate wish list look like for a salesperson? Just to start with, to get an idea, I have the privilege to be head of marketing for WeWork, and I focus mainly on this territory. I'm originally from the United States, if you can't hear the accent, and yet made Aliyah 11 years ago, and I'm still here. So I've survived it. Thank you. 11 years strong. I feel like recovering. Worked in New York, Silicon Valley, also worked in a couple of places in Europe, and so that gave me the opportunity to really understand the difference between targeting a market and how to speak to it. High tech, low tech, fintech, ad tech, all the techs and the ones that will come up ahead I've worked in, and so technology is really the key. Same thing at WeWork. And just to understand a little bit about WeWork, WeWork is actually a brand that has existence in over 27 countries. We have 400 buildings, and believe it or not, I was employee number 2,000 and change in the beginning of last year. We are now over 10,000 employees. And so I think that there's a huge misconception of the fact that its founders are Israeli, one of them at least, and then the global breadth of WeWork. But I'm not here to talk to you about WeWork. I'm completely into it. Obviously, I'm there. But just to get a few facts, over 10,000 employees, and it's insane. I would like to share with you a short little video. This is a perfect time to just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. This is a video that a person by the name of Mark Gunger talks about, and just enjoy yourself for a few seconds.
Men's brains, women's brains, and how they're very different from each other. Now, I want to start with men's brains. All right, now men's brains are very unique. Men's brains are made up of little boxes. And we have a box for everything. We've got a box for the car. We've got a box for the money. We've got a box for the job. We've got a box for you. We've got a box for the kids. We've got a box for your mother somewhere in the basement. We got boxes everywhere. And the rule is, the boxes don't touch. When a man discusses a particular subject, we go to that particular box, we pull that box out, we open the box, we discuss only what is in that box. All right? And then we close the box and put it away, being very, very careful not to touch any other boxes.
Keep on watching, it's worth it.
Sorry, my Catholic upbringing got in there for a minute, but I'm not a Catholic, but I went to Catholic school when I was little. I had a nun who taught on hell like she was born and raised there. I mean, I'll never forget it, but it did me good, actually. It was a good thing. Now, women's brains are very, very different from men's brains. Women's brains are made up of a big ball of wire. And everything is connected to everything. The money's connected to the car, and the car's connected to your job, and your kids are connected to your mother, and everything's connected to everything. And it's like... It's like the internet superhighway, okay? And it's all driven by energy that we call emotion. It's just... It's one of the reasons why women tend to remember everything. Because if you take an event and you connect it to an emotion, it burns in your memory and you can remember it forever. The same thing happens...
Okay, let's put the thing back. So how was that comic relief just for a few seconds? Feels good? After about 2.5 hours of super intense and interesting information that you've absorbed all morning, you have now uplifted your energy and restarted your day. So definitely thank you to the first 3 people who spoke. I definitely learned a lot. But it's also important to know how to take a break. And as we are workaholics here in this day and age, and as we invest so much energy in what we do, especially in sales, because you want to be accessible to all those who are interested in your product, you need to also know and do what you love, which is either work or personal life. So I want to talk about that video. I don't necessarily want to evangelize the fact that men and women are different. I have no right to say anything about it, but I do want to evangelize the concept that marketing and sales is one. And I'd like to bring you a little bit into what my world is, and then you'll soon recognize that your world is just the same. And if you're smart, and if you utilize your tools around you within the company that you work in, you will be a more successful salesperson. The internet is flooded with information, just as what you see on the screen right now. Just as an example, when dealing with hardship, men tend to want to be left alone. And women, they amplify it, they talk about it, they need everyone around them. Another example, men sometimes view assistance as a form of criticism, but women, they love to wrap people around them, make them understand how they feel terrible about themselves, and they all need a whole support system. Why am I seeing this on the internet? Why are people defining and categorizing what a man and a woman wants? Same thing with sales and marketing. This is also what I'm seeing online, and I just can't understand it. They're defining that people on the sales team need to focus on immediate prospects. What can I sell right now? How can I close my deal? When in marketing, they tend to focus more on the future success. Now what's happening now? 2 months, 3 months, 4 months down the line. And here's another example. They tend to focus on strategy from previous success, which means, does that mean that salespeople are not creative? That they're just relying on things that they've done before? And that marketing tend to focus on strategy and research and understanding of what the market is about? I can go on and read all the points, and there's plenty of information online, but what I'm saying is that sales and marketing is one. And when I'm going to go through this example with you, this is the ultimate wish list that I recommend that you work with your marketing teams in the companies and organizations that you work in. Because if you think about it, the sales funnel begins with marketing. Someone who spoke earlier today in one of the presentations said, when you're approaching a potential customer, what do you think they're doing? They're going online and they're reading all about it. When you buy a new Nike sneaker, you're not walking in and doing a direct sale and purchasing the sneaker. You're checking reviews, you're getting an email promotion because you've just been targeted. You've seen some advertisements online, you received emails, you've seen billboards all over. That's the beginning of the sales cycle, hence known as marketing. So when you're going in for the kill, if you pick up the phone and call a prospect from a pipeline that has never heard of the product that you're selling, I can only imagine how difficult that could be without marketing. You'll have to explain to the person on the phone what your product's all about. You'll need to explain to that person on the phone what the competitive edge is. And yet, why? The profession of sales is to amplify the product and match. And we've learned earlier today that there's all different kinds of sales tactics, direct, indirect, and whatnot. But I'm saying to you that the beginning of the sales cycle is marketing. So work with your marketing teams as they have the same goals as you. Let's go through the 4 basic points. And really, I mean, the list can go on and on. I'm just giving you some sort of jump start of where you can actually go into work and say, hey, these are the tools that I need to sell the product that we are both selling. First is social media research. Second, competitive edge. Third, marketing materials. And fourth, competitive pricing evaluation. Did you ever hear another marketer say that? Maybe you've heard another marketer say marketing materials. But did you actually think that a marketing person thinks about the competitive edge or the pricing and the pricing model or the pricing structure? Excel is my best friend, and I'm in marketing. It's a phenomenon. Nalgene, Camelback. Does anybody know what that is? Yeah? Okay. So it's interesting. I haven't found an industry here in Israel that actually manufactures bottles the way American or Canadian companies do. It's amazing. And yet this country is what, a desert? You know? Completely made up of minorities, which is now a majority. I mean, it's mind-boggling how, if anybody goes out and starts selling bottles, I want in. Because this is really a crazy concept that people are selling a container to put water inside, and water is free. Most countries, you can drink the water right out of the tap, but do we? No, we want to be a standard. We want to be a statistic of purchasing water. More than likely, everyone in this room buys water, and yet we can drink the water from this country, and we watch the news every day to say, please let it rain, and it has this winter, and yet we buy water. It's incredible. Okay, so Nalgene versus Camelback. Let's say I'm a seller for Camelback, okay? I'm personally a big user of Camelback bottles. It has that flip top that I enjoy very much. You can go to your marketing team and tell them, retrieve information from social media. Social media is our best friend and our biggest enemy. It is a dangerous marketplace and yet is the biggest place to amplify what your products actually have. So if you take a look online, okay, here are some samples of the bottles. And marketers use Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, email marketing. There are 18 channels of marketing today, till date, not only events, but other digital platforms that we get measured on. We have KPIs. And they're looking to see how Nalgene markets their product. Now, as a salesperson of Camelback, if I can learn how they market it based on functionality in this post, and how they market it based on emotional experience at this post, I can start to get an understanding of when I'm selling a Camelback bottle, I know what the person in front of me is thinking because they've seen the competitive products on an emotional level and a functional level. So in conclusion to social media, there's a ton of information that you can find out. You can also understand what their customers are saying on Twitter. You can learn what they're complaining about. You can learn what they love about the competitive product and use that in your dialogue when you're selling a product from the very first conversation. Having a competitive edge. In order for us to be real marketers, we need to do market analysis. I think the biggest loophole here is that we don't share the marketing analysis with the sales teams. And I think it's something that you guys can actually work closely with the marketing team because in order to create the simplest competitive analysis on a product, you need to understand what all the other products are defining as a USP. So yes, great salespeople know their own USPs. They know exactly what the features are, whether it's a SaaS product, online, offline, hardware, it really doesn't matter. But a good salesperson, oh, I know my features, I know my products, I know what I can say in the sales conversation, but do you know what your competitors are saying? So marketing people tend to be quite organized, and so they have this obsession with Excel sheets and spreadsheets and presentations, so it's really easy to share the information, and I encourage you to work with your marketing teams. I've had product marketing people on my team. I've had competitive analysis people on my team, and that's what their job was. Because in order to target the audience and educate the market for the sales team, they need to understand the competitive edge and the competitive analysis. So please, use the information. It's somewhere in a spreadsheet. Marketing materials. So oftentimes, marketers are seen as people who generate one-pagers, brochures, events, and yes, all that is very much important. But we only make them for you. We don't need them. We do the competitive analysis to understand what to put inside of those marketing materials. We do the pricing analysis and the geographical analysis to understand what messaging should be in those brochures. And then we wish to God every day that a salesperson is going to a sales meeting and has a tangible item in their hand, and one of them is the marketing materials we've made. Because with testimonials, you're tapping into the emotion. With case studies proving that the product works better to the other is a powerful tool. With understanding what ads are going out about the product that you're selling on the internet, don't let your potential customer know more about your ads than yourself. Because what you're doing is representing the product and its quality. And as a salesperson, your ability to understand how we market the product is 50% of the sale, hands down. The last thing I want to talk about is the sales goals, and I left this for last because this is sensitive. I'm sure that most people in this room never thought of the fact that you're the breadwinners of the company. All of you make our salaries. All of you are paying for our well-being. All of you make what the company is today and in the future because of your ability and your courage and your energy to drive through. And so as a marketer, I evangelize the concept of the fact that your sales goals are ours. There are so many teams in different companies that work in parallel. IT in parallel to development, in parallel to product, in parallel to QA, or even one after the other. Sales and marketing, I would probably say on almost every vertical, are the two teams that should be working together because your sales goals are my sales goals. You make it, I make it. You make more money, I get more budget. Makes sense, right? And so when you're talking about your sales goals and when you're talking about your target audience and where you want to go and what you want to do and what you want to sell and in which angle, share them with the marketing team because not every company really provides the information of what the sales goals are on a monthly, quarterly, and yearly basis. When we know the numbers, we know how to amplify the marketing. When we know what your target audience is or your successes, close the loop and share it with marketing. Your sales goals are ours. I'd like to thank you for listening to my spiel.
Okay, and with that, you can get up, stretch your legs, mingle with all the latecomers. Don't worry, we didn't see you.